At St. Elizabeth Parish in Ludlow, they are currently offering a program focusing on marriage and the meaning of sacramental love. CAROLEE McGrath has more.
When you think of love at first sight, Hallmark movies might come to mind. But then there's the story of Richard and Duane Pasquini. How did you meet her?
She was on the steps of Ludlow High School. She was 15 years old. And I was driving by in one of the few cars in Ludlow High School with about 5 or 6 football players in it. And I stuck my head out the window and I said, "Would you like a ride home?" And she looked at me and said, "Forget it."
And that was it?
No, but that was the beginning.
No, thank you.
I saw her and I said, "She's the one I'm going to marry." And I was 17 years old.
The couple has been married 54 years. They raised 2 sons, have 6 grandchildren, and know the secret to a happy marriage.
We try to put the emphasis on the idea that we are a sacrament, and as a sacrament, we're called to be a visible sign of God's love.
The Pasquinis have been heading up the marriage enrichment program at St. Elizabeth since 2011. In the past, they've attended marriage encounter retreat weekends, but for the last several years, they've been holding Friday date nights for couples to come and focus on their marriage. Each session includes a video series produced by Greg and Julie Alexander, a couple once on the brink of divorce. They now have made marriage ministry their mission. They've written books, produced videos, and are asked to speak all across the country, and they're often guests on EWTN and Catholic radio. After the video presentation, couples are given time to answer questions privately based on a topic. The Pasquinis say there are often as many as 16 to 20 couples per session.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of guys that don't want to come to this program because they're afraid. It's always the guys, a lot of times, that are afraid to come because they don't know what to expect. We're going to have to share our feelings and all.
Who wants to do that?
I know it. No
one wants to share their feelings.
Yeah, but you know, but it's amazing.
A lot of times they think it's going to be a group dynamic thing, but we don't do group. It's husband to
They come
wife.
and they say, "Hey, the guy came the other night. I'm coming back." This big, tall guy, I don't write, but that's, I don't care if you can write or anything. Just come.
How did you meet?
We met at church in a folk group back in the 70s.
Gloria and Gary Bourbeau have been married for 40 years. Why is this marriage enrichment program something that you wanted to participate in?
During your daily comings and goings, you really don't have time to sit down and talk to each other. I know that sounds ridiculous because we're always talking to each other. But the big stuff, so we come here, there's a question presented. It has different parts. We look at each other and say, "Oh, I didn't know you felt that way about it."
How long have we been involved with marriage and
some kind of marriage and enrichment since 40 years ago.
John and Diane Dryowitz will be married 53 years in May.
It's amazing, and it's all about prayer and the Lord. And just if you pray together, He feeds you, and you nurture each other.
And there's a kitty cat. It's a dog. Oh, it's a dog. It looks like a cat.
You could say that Patricia and Brian Fontaine are the newlyweds of the group. They've been married for 8 years and have a 6-year-old daughter.
Well, like I've always said to everybody who asks, actually, it's one way to kind of feed the marriage and just tell them we're answering questions about each other, and we're spending, it's like 2 hours together of just taking time for our relationship.
And there's a lot of things that compete for our time constantly. I mean, we would be home doing, I don't even know what, laundry, dishes, cooking, cleaning, being on the phone. We wouldn't be spending time with each other. Going to Mass every week and being part of this program, I feel like we have that advantage to helping our marriage last forever.
The program runs once a month from October to April. Couples can come to one session or to every session, and free babysitting is offered.
Well,
we were instructed.
They all said you were coming down and you were buying.
Monsignor Homer Goslin is the pastor of St. Elizabeth's.
What I try to stress when I'm celebrating marriage with couples is that they're exchanging vows, and there's a big difference between a vow and a promise. You know, we make all kinds of promises and we break those easily, but a vow is something sacred, and a vow is between three people. God is the witness of the vow, and God is always part of the relationship.
And the Pasquinis hope to encourage other couples to keep Christ at the center of their marriage.
Part of our vocation is helping one another get to heaven.
Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm CAROLEE McGrath.